Thank you, Greg. The Senate missed Friday's midnight deadline to fund the government, but secured a last-minute $1.2 trillion deal on Saturday to halt a partial government shutdown. Majority Leader Chuck Schumer praised the 74-24 bipartisan deal, but Texas Republican Chip Roy made it clear before the House voted the bill was lacking.
This is business as usual in the swamp, and here's the deal to my Republican colleagues. You will own every single bit of this. If you vote for this bill, you own it. DHS funding contingent on signing H.R. 2 into law. That's what we did last year to make sure our border would be secure. That is punted, so you own it. Defunding Alejandro Mayorkas. We did that in our bill. This punts that. It's no longer there. You own it. Prohibiting mass parole and release of illegal aliens via the CBP One app. We did that in our bill last year. This bill gets rid of it. You own it.
The mammoth 1,000-plus page bill was signed by Joe Biden on Saturday. And as that bill went into law, Joe Biden urged House Speaker Mike Johnson to pass the Senate's additional foreign aid and border security package, emphasizing that Congress's work is not yet complete. The Senate passed a $95 billion bill last month for aid to Ukraine, Israel, and the Indo-Pacific, but Johnson has not brought it to a vote in the House. Speaker Johnson plans to address these issues when Congress reconvenes in April. On Friday, Representative Margerie Taylor Greene ripped the bill, calling it an abject failure of the GOP.
I rise in extreme opposition to the second part of the omnibus bill. No Republican in the House of Representatives in good conscience can vote for this bill. This bill funds full-term abortion. This is not a Republican bill. This is a Chuck Schumer, Democrat-controlled bill coming from the House majority that is supposed to be controlled by Republicans. Madam Speaker, it is the will of our voters, and it is the will of Republicans across the country that this bill should not be brought to the floor, that this bill will absolutely destroy our majority, and will tell every single one of our voters that this majority is a failure.
The Congresswoman went on to say this is the bill that rips our border wide open, and this is the bill that the White House cannot wait to sign. Mike?
Former House Speaker Kevin McCarthy on Friday blamed the struggles of his successor Mike Johnson and the diminishing House Republican majority on his removal from last year. According to the Washington Times, McCarthy noted that the Republican majority in the House started with a small margin in 2023, which has now dwindled to just one vote due to several lawmakers leaving. McCarthy pointed out that the tipping point came when 8 Republicans, led by Representative Matt Gaetz of Florida, voted to remove him. McCarthy also criticized House Republicans for not using their majority strength to address issues like illegal immigration, citing a loss of leverage due to the actions of those 8 Republicans who sided with Democrats. An appeals court has granted former President Donald Trump some relief from the $464 million civil judgment against him to be paid today. He now only needs to post a bond worth $175 million as he appeals his conviction, and he has 10 days to come up with that money. And from what the former president has said, that should be very doable. Political pollster Frank Luntz warned over the weekend if New York seizes Donald Trump's assets today, it may ensure his election.
I want you to remember this moment, and don't forget it. If the New York Attorney General starts to take his homes away, starts to seize his assets, it's all going to be on camera. Pundits are going to sit there and scream about this. This man cannot be elected. You're going to create the greatest victimhood of 2024.
New York Judge Arthur Engoron ordered Trump to pay the massive bond for allegedly overvaluing his property and wealth to receive more favorable loans. Luntz finished making his point with a warning directly to New York State Attorney General Letitia James.
And I say this to the Attorney General right now. If you play politics on this, this is what the secretaries of state did in Colorado and what they did in, I believe, was Maine. And his numbers went up in both states. I don't understand. I'm almost speechless in how pathetic the opposition to Trump has been and how completely misguided. And this is a perfect example of it.
President Joe Biden mocked Trump's massive bond by labeling Donald Trump broke Don. Greg.
In an update on another Trump lawsuit, Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis said she doesn't feel her reputation is soiled from a romantic relationship with Nathan Wade, the lover she hired as prosecutor in her election interference case against Donald Trump. CNN was able to speak with Willis in an exclusive interview on Saturday.
I don't feel like my reputation needs to be reclaimed. Let's say it for the record. I'm not embarrassed by anything I've done. I guess my greatest crime is I had a relationship with a man, but that's not something that I find embarrassing in any way. And I know that I have not done anything that's illegal. Although the racketeering case was delayed by 2 months, Willis said her team hasn't slowed down. And I think the media, and especially organizations like your own, have been paying attention. All while that was going on, we were writing responsive briefs. We were still doing the case in the way that it needed to be done. I don't feel like we've been slowed down at all. I do think that there are efforts to slow down this train, but the train is coming. Last week, Fulton County Superior Court Judge Scott McCarthy, said Willis must remove herself from the case or fire prosecutor Nathan Wade. Wade resigned while Willis remains. Fani Willis plans to seek her courtroom trial against Trump as soon as this summer. She's also up for re-election in Fulton County as district attorney later this year.